Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Monday, March 24th, 2025. That is 5 years and a week of Torah every single day, of finding each other from every corner of the world, to give each other strength, to learn Torah, to say good morning to each other. So good to see you. Penny, thank you. It is broadcast 1267. It is indeed. It's good to be with all of you. Janice, I hope that you are well. Let's see who else is here so we can say good morning to each other. Amy and Rosa, Carl, Rose, and Shari. Good morning, Shari. You're still in the hospital awaiting biopsy results, sending you strength and brachot, blessings for healing. Arlene, you are back from Israel. It's complicated. You say home from Israel. You and I have spoken about this. Home, home is a big word for us. It's good to have you local again. I'll say it like that. Catherine and Dale, it's good to see you too. Jonathan and Barry, Ashley and Amy, Anya and Deborah, Sandy and Ellen, good morning. Minna, Helen, Gail, Boker Tov, Linda and Barbara. Who's in Venice? Who just said that? Barbara, you're in Venice. Keep traveling, keep bringing us with you. Torah travels wherever we do. It's amazing. It's amazing. Siona and Arlene, Judy, it's good to see you. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Linda. Natalie, Boker Tov. All right, Kim. Oh, Kim, you're in Nashville. We should have high-fived midair. I just got back. I hope it's a great conference. I'm moved by what I got to see there on Shabbat. Joyce, Boker Tov, Cynthia, and Barbara. All right, good to see all of you. Hi, Susie. Okay, let's take a breath, everybody. Let's sing a bracha, learn some Torah. I haven't checked if the guitar is tuned. Wish me luck. Not bad. Hi, friends. So good to be together. It's good to be home. I've been doing a lot of traveling this last month, and it's a blessing to be brought to communities to teach Torah. I love it. I look forward to doing more of it. Maybe we'll get to see each other. But it is really good to be settled in a place, especially because where we are right now in our time and where we are in this week's Parsha, we're beginning to learn together Parshat Pekudei, the very final Torah portion of the book of Exodus. There is so much wandering and unsettledness that accompanies this moment in our Torah, in our cycles, and also in our lives. I wanted to reflect before making a comment on this Parsha about the most recent trip I was blessed to make. The Jewish Funders Network is a group of incredibly thoughtful leaders across the Jewish world. They meet annually to collaborate, to build strength, to learn about what each of them has been contributing to the Jewish world, by which I mean not just the funding itself, but the thought, the focus, to try to avoid redundancies, because we really should, friends, make sure that what we offer is truly necessary. And if someone else is offering it too, let's figure out how to collaborate so that it's a maximal benefit with a minimum of cost so that we can then devote all of our energies where it is not yet reaching. What a really important thing for us to do, an efficiency model for the Jewish world that is based on friendship and collaboration and joy. Because this past Shabbat, I was really privileged. I co taught with Rabbi Eli Confer from Hadar, and we brought our Torah and we taught a group of loving human beings who represent a real diversity of the Jewish community from Israel and from America and from elsewhere. And when we taught, there was room for everyone. You'll understand why when I speak a little bit about this parsha, why making room for each other might be the most important thing we can learn to do. As I'm sure you are, and I hope you really are, paying attention to what is happening around the Jewish world, especially in Israel these days. Not only is it the ongoing struggle to release the hostages, which is not receiving enough priority in the government's mechanism, it seems, but also the divide within Israeli society that was put on pause with October 7th, 2023. The intensity of the fight within Israeli society for justice and to navigate how complicated power can be. This has not been a model of making space for each other. Just before October 7th, I remember marching with my beloved teacher, Yossi Klein Halevi. Some of you have been blessed to learn from him too. During the debate about the judicial overhaul, and on the day that the Knesset, Israel's parliament, decided to move forward with an overhaul, with a piece of it, he and I sat in protest, and I witnessed real intensity between the police, the Israeli Mishtara, that was there to keep calm, to enforce the law, and Israeli citizens, tens of thousands, on that day, actually 100,000, mobilizing to say, we must maintain justice and law. And both sides were fighting, and there didn't seem, in the intensity, to be room for both. It has been a long time since we've spoken about that because we have other things that are dire. But it's all important, and we have to make room to talk about this. And as Rosa is saying, on an institutional level, it's actually a really good way of saying it. Thank you, Rosa. Having two organizations doing the same work can be confusing for those of us, meaning all of us, who want to figure out how to support and donate. I guarantee you, we do this kind of thinking as UJA, and we try to make sure that where we are adding value, it is truly a necessary place for us to add value. And where others are doing the work, we are proud to support them in being the experts in the room. It is really important. And on a societal level, just to bring it back, Arlene articulated it simply and directly. That intensity that we've been speaking about now is boiling up again in Israel with the issues of hostages and the government and um, and politics. So let me offer this teaching today with appreciation specifically to the Jewish Funders Network for their beautiful, beautiful model, their solid and gentle stewardship, and for having had the privilege of learning Torah together with so many of them. In this week's Parsha, we have the moment that the Mishkan, the tabernacle that we've been working so hard to build, it is completed. We have spent 4 Torah portions talking about what is necessary, what ingredients do we need to make this tabernacle, what materials, what is the construction, what is the furniture, what is the clothing that the priest will wear that we need to build. It is all truly glorious and also dense. We get to the point where it's finally completed. The enclosure is set up. And listen to I'll give you the Hebrew and then I'll give you the English. Vayichal Moshe et hamelacha. Moses finishes the work. Vayichas ha'anan et ohel moed uchvod Adonai maleh et hamishkan. The cloud covering the tent of meeting sorry, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the presence of God filled the tabernacle. Velo yachol Moshe lavo el ohel moed ki shachan alav ha'anan. Moses could not enter the land of meeting because the cloud had settled upon it and the presence of God filled the tabernacle. Now, we're going to talk about this more this week, but I want to reflect what it says and to think together about it right now. And as we do so, Lydia, sending your positive energy, you're waiting to speak with your daughter's doctor for her scan results, sending her strength, the doctor clarity, and you resilience and your own necessary comfort. When Moses is finished, when we are all finished in the construction of the holy space that we call the Mishkan, the tabernacle, God's presence fills it. It says the cloud. And in the Torah, the cloud of God is actually a stand in for God's own presence. We'll deal with that when we talk philosophy sometime. But trust me, that's the verse. You can look, it's chapter 40 of the book of Exodus, and I've read to you now verses 34 and 35. When God's cloud fills the Mishkan, there's no room for Moshe. I want to talk about this in relational theory for a moment. When we are in healthy relationship, we can't crowd out our partner and call that a healthy relationship. The power of this moment is not in modeling what we should do. It's modeling what happens when we take up all the space. Now, yes, this story in our Torah is about God taking up all the space and Moshe not having room. Think about this emotionally. Moshe has devoted so much of his own life force to build the nexus point, the convening space for God and the people. And Moshe can't be close to God. God occupies a space so fully that even Moshe can't get in. Now, it is important to remember that we're talking about God and we're talking about Moshe. It's not the same as two equals, except that God's own instruction when it came to building the Mishkan was, V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham. Build me a holy place and I will dwell amongst you. How can God dwell amongst us if God takes up all the space? In fact, the mystics looked at this concept when they created the notion of tzimtzum. If they didn't create it, they reflected it, which is to say, in order for there to be a presence of God in the world and humanity, or a presence of God and existence, then God has to hold back a little bit. How would it be possible for there to be such a thing as existence if God were the fullness of God? And so, in a radical act of love, God holds back. Now, not yet in our story, in our Parsha, do we see God doing that. What we do see is the consequence of not doing that. Moshe finishes the Mishkan. I imagine weeping. He's managed to get the people, a barely freed people, to give of themselves in the aftermath of the debacle of the golden calf, to use their means again, their resources again, to achieve not just atonement, but healing. Not only healing, but a sense of the holy. Not only a sense of the holy, but also of human agency, the chance to participate in the construction of something real, to be in partnership with God. And then Moshe can't get in. And that's how the book of Shemot closes. The book of Exodus closes with Moshe unable to access the innermost presence of God. I understand theologically that might not be shocking for us because of what we might believe about God. But let's be empathetic to Moshe. And let's think about how to be in relationship in response to this. Let's think about how to be in relationship with God in such a way that we appreciate even being able to navigate it, which is to be granted the space to think about our place in the universe. There will be a tikkun, a healing from this moment that I'm pointing to when we begin the book of Vayikra, when we begin the book of Leviticus next week. But we're not there yet. At this stage in the relationship, we are called to really think about what it is to grant space for the other because we see that Moshe is not granted that space. And speaking for me, my heart goes out to him. Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm so sorry that at this moment of potential fulfillment, you couldn't find a way in. There wasn't a way in granted to you. I know it's not the end of the story, but I'm with you, our teacher, in this moment of the story. And I'm learning. I hope that based on your experience that you conveyed to us, and I think about so many permutations, so many parts of our world as I say this, I hope based on this story, we can work even harder to make sure that in our pursuit of building something of worth in this world, as we see fit, we remember that we're not the only ones in this world who want a place in it, who deserve a place in it, that we can make sure that in the name of the truth we believe in, we still manage to grant space to another. Then we can build something worthy together, knowing that there is room for both of us, for all of us. That is a vision for the world that we learn in response to this week's Parsha. Let's send our hearts all the way to the east, underground, to our sisters and brothers in Israel who are laboring to free our sisters and brothers who are still in darkness. Let's send our hearts to the families of the hostages and to those in positions of leadership to remember to make space for what is necessary for the sakes of others. Let's sing. Kolon baleva penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.